Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my April reading wrap up. I read 11 books in the month of April. I'm going to chat about them in the order that I read them, give my mini review, and my rating, of course. 11 books in a month is pretty good for me. I would have liked to read at least one more, but that didn't happen. Hopefully May is a tiny bit better, but let's see how quickly or not I get through all these books. I'm going to scooch over because I only have 4 books physically and the rest were on audiobook or Kindle or from my library. So first up I have Sheets by Brenna Thumler. This is a graphic novel. We are following a little girl named Marjorie as she struggles to go to school and keep her family's laundromat afloat following the death of her mother, and her father is really struggling to take care of her and her brother as well as grieve the loss of his wife. We also have Wendell, who is a ghost, and he is a little boy who hasn't quite come to terms with the fact that he's dead. I did give this 3 stars. It is a quick, enjoyable read. The art style is really fun, but I didn't find there to be a whole lot plot-wise. Next I read Children of Fallen Gods by Carissa Broadbent, the second book in the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. As this is a sequel, I don't want to give anything away, but in the first book we are following Tasana and Max. Tasana is a slave who escapes and wants help from the orders in a different country to free the slaves where she came from. And in order to do that, she must become a part of the orders and train her magic under MacInnis, and he is very reluctant to help her. They have a friends to lovers romance arc. I gave the second book 4 stars. We're introduced to a new world, a new cast of characters that are just thrown at us, and we have no idea how they fit in with the current storyline we're following. Eventually, near the end of the book, things start to make more sense, and while I really enjoyed those chapters, not having a sweet clue on how these things were relevant, it did kind of knock down my enjoyment a little bit, but overall I'm really loving this series. I should finish it soon. Next I read Wretched by Emily McIntyre, the 3rd book in the Never After series. This series is a dark romance series, not fantastical, that are fairy tale reimaginings. I have glitter in my eye, which is why I don't wear glitter makeup very often. Wretched is a Wizard of Oz reimagining. It has that mafia vibe that I love. I felt like the stakes were really high. Our female main character, Evelina, is a part of like this drug cartel situation. I don't want to give too much away, but I will say I absolutely hated the way poetry was used within this book, and the ending kind of had me scratching my head. I don't know how I wanted it to end or how it should have ended instead, but it just didn't fully make sense to me. So 3 stars. I then read Savage Lover by Sophie Lark, the 3rd book in the Brutal Birthright series. Clearly I was on a kick of reading some sequels. The Brutal Birthright series is mafia romance interconnected standalones. And in this one we are following Camille and Nero, and if there's one thing I love in my books when I'm reading, whether it's fantastical or not, is a good heist. I love like laying out the plans and seeing our characters like, I don't know, strategize, things like that. It is so much fun for me, but this book was lacking the mafia. And it's because of the characters we're following in this book, but a big reason of why I liked the first 2 books in the series so much is I really like mafia vibes, like the crime syndicate sort of thing, all of the like business maneuverings of these wealthy, scary people, and that was missing in this book for me. Also, Camille and Nero, I never fully believed in their romance, and I can't really put my finger on why. So this was another 3-star. I then read The Bronzed Beasts by Roshani Chokshi, the third and final book in the Gilded Wolves series. This is a YA fantasy series with a really cool magic system called foraging. We have a fantastic found family cast of characters who always go on these grand adventures. It kind of reminds me a bit of Indiana Jones in that they are seeking treasures, following clues, and in each book in this trilogy they're in a different country. They start off in France, then they go to Russia, and then the third book is set in Italy. So we're always seeing new scenery as well, which is fun. This is a fantastic series finale, but the big bad, the villain through the series, in every single book he had me rolling my eyes. He's just a bit too cartoonish villainous, you know what I mean? Like, especially like older TV that I would have had growing up, not so much what my kids are watching, but like that mwahaha, like just absolutely ridiculous villain. That was our villain in this book. I don't want to give anything away, or in this whole series. I was just always rolling my eyes at him. He wasn't really that scary to me, I guess. So I gave this 4 stars. Finally, a book I can hold up for you. This is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, the classic children's fairy tale. I chose not to rate this on Goodreads. I love the Disney movies of Peter Pan and like all of the, you know, spin-off movies or like remakes. I love them. And I've been reading a lot of Peter Pan inspired stories for an upcoming project. So I wanted to read the source material, and this was written in 1911. However, even though this was written over 100 years ago, the blatant, disgusting racism in this book was too much for me. I finished it. I actually stole this off of my son's shelf to read, and it will not be going back there. I don't know. And then even the writing style was very confusing in the name of whimsy, but it didn't feel whimsical to me. It was just hard to follow along. I feel very negatively about Peter Pan, the original. Next, I read volume 5 of Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe, not sure how to pronounce her last name. This is a graphic novel series. It's Hades and Persephone, and it's definitely on the darker side, so check trigger warnings if you have any. In this 4th volume, I gave it 4 stars. The gods are scheming. These are a lot of fun. I love the art style. We are going to finish on the highest of notes. I have a 5-star streak to share with you. Kicking it off with Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. This is like a women's fiction thriller. We are following mostly a group of moms. They're the kinder moms. All their children are entering kindergarten. Some of them have older children and know the lay of the land of the school a bit better than the newer moms on the block. That's just their first or oldest their first child going into school. And we are following how cliquey and dramatic the moms can be at school, which I just find so funny because if you don't know, I have 3 kids. 2 of them are in school. And there is juicy, messy drama just within the moms, within each of their families, between the children, and it ends with a murder. And we know there's a murder based on the first chapter, but then we go back 6 months prior, and this was just so fun for me. I read this very quickly for it being 500 pages. I was eating up the drama. I wanted to know the tea. We have husbands sleeping around. I was telling my mom, there are darker themes in here. There's children bullying each other. There is domestic violence. And I was telling my mom, like, this is the funniest, charming book I've ever read that centers around domestic violence and murder. I don't know how better to wrap it up than that. It was just so entertaining. I then read Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is the 4th book in the Chestnut Springs series. We are following Theo and Winter, and the trope is secret baby. I gave this 5 stars. The one critique I had about this, though I could still give it 5 stars, was I kind of wished there is a bit more of an explosive conflict coming out of this secret baby situation. I've heard other people's critique being that they just kind of fell into the swing of things a bit easily, which they did, but I ate up every second of this. They had me swooning. I believed in their romance. I loved them together so much, and I loved watching Theo become a dad. It was so wonderful. So I still give it 5 stars. I felt like it would be silly for me to knock it down a star or half a star because there wasn't enough conflict in the book when every other part of this had me swooning. Second to last, we're almost there. I read Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. I went the opposite way than what I have been. This is a new released romantasy following a witch and a witch hunter. I did do a full review on my Bookstagram and Book Talk, but I'll chat about it briefly here. This is a game of cat and mouse between a witch who is named Rune and a witch hunter named Gideon. Prior to the beginning of our story, this kingdom was ruled by 3 evil witch queens, and there was a revolution, and now the humans are in power and witches are outlawed. They are being hunted down one by one. They have public executions hung upside down like cattle in the streets and bled, and it's very gruesome. Rune is hiding in plain sight. She is pretending to be this air-headed socialite, and she is courting the kingdom's elite. But what she's really doing is gaining valuable intel so that at night she is the Crimson Moth and is able to save these witches that the witch hunters are gathering before they are executed, and she smuggles them out of the kingdom. Gideon, our witch hunter, is the leader of the Blood Guard. He's the top of the food chain. It is his life's mission to eradicate the witches. But he has like a secret, sad boy, broody undercurrent. He is the son of a tailor, and in his free time he sews and designs beautiful gowns, and he just felt like such a breath of fresh air for me. And the biggest standout for me on this novel, why I gave it 5 stars, I absolutely devoured it, and it was just so much fun. The pacing in this book is breakneck speed. There is not a dull moment. The tension in here, the betrayals in here, like it was just so much fun. I absolutely loved it. And lastly, I was able to squeeze in one more book before the end of April. This is the 4th volume of Spy X Family. In this manga series, we are following a spy named Twilight, and he has been assigned a mission to infiltrate this very elite private school. In order to do that, he needs a wife and a smart child. So he finds a wife. She works at City Hall. Her name is Yor. She's secretly an assassin, and he has his own hidden identity as well. They adopt this beautiful little girl who is not the brightest, so they have their work cut out for them. But she is a telepath, and she knows more of what's going on than she should, but she's still very much a small little kid and makes little kid rash decisions and mistakes, and it's just so stinking funny. I gave this one 5 stars. I gave the first book 5 stars and 1 and 2 4 stars, so it's definitely a highly rated series for me. I have a lot of fun with these. So overall, I had a pretty fantastic reading month. Lots of highly rated book, ended with 4 or 5 stars in a row, which is amazing. You'll have to let me know in the comments below what your favorite read in April was. I love chatting with you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!